The Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. I have been trying to tell people, I posted on my videos numerous of times because there was some I guess maybe some confusion or speculation about the FISA 702 and it being exclusive to just foreigners. Okay. I've said this time and time again on several videos that I posted in the past. All right. This FISA 702 is not just exclusive to foreigners or exclusive to Americans that have ties to foreigners. Okay. I'm going to play a video, an updated video of a Judiciary Committee hearing. Now they are back in session. Okay, they were on break for a while, and I know they were on break for a while because I've been monitoring them since May of this year, especially the Judiciary Committee hearing on the weaponization of the federal government. I've been eyeing that. I've been eyeballing that like a hawk. Okay, because I know that there's been talks of these fraudulent programs ending December 31st of this year. Okay. They have until then to make the decision as to whether or not they're going to end the program or reform it. Okay. Now, they've been given these intelligence agencies the opportunities to reform these programs. But what we're finding is that these agencies are going before the Senate, are going before Congress, are going before these hearings, and they are still lying, namely the FBI and Department of Justice. They are still lying and saying that, oh, they've implemented reforms, they're being more careful. That's a damn lie because I'm still being gang stalked. Okay, just as I'm sure as you guys are. All right, so I'm gonna play some videos. These are new videos. I'm not playing old videos from a bunch of years back. This is current stuff that is happening. And I urge every targeted individual eh, eh, to pay attention to what's going on with this because this is something that has to do with us, those of us that are going through this targeting, that are on these watch lists. It's talking about us, so it's very important, relevant to pay attention. I would like to reiterate and clarify once again, I'm not into politics. I've never voted a day in my life for any politician. At a very young age, I could see through all this bullshit. Okay? But if you have a side that is geared towards shedding light on these programs that are out there that are destroying our lives, targeted individuals, if there is a group or party out there that's trying to shed light on this, I think it's worth giving it the attention and paying attention to it. I'm not trying to put false hope out there to say, oh, this is definitely going to end December 31st. Let me be clear on that, okay? We know as targeted individuals that you never get your hopes up too high because the minute you do, what happens? We get let down, okay? All I'm saying is this is worth paying attention to. There are some of us out there that are on the verge of giving up. And all I'm saying is just pay attention to these judiciary committees. There's a lot of truth that's being put out there. Okay. So there was a video that I ran across. Um, second. Okay, so I don't know if I want to play it off of YouTube or if I want to play it off my Windows Media Player. But this is the video right here. Just in, Ray Mayorkas grilled by senators in Senate Homeland Security Committee hearing. They've resumed. Okay. So from here on out, they're going to be talking about this whole FISA 702. What has the FBI done to tweak or make to reform these programs? And they haven't done shit because I'm still being gang stalked. I know damn well I'm not no terrorist. Okay, I don't commit acts of violence. None of that stuff that they say that this program is supposed to be geared towards has anything to do with me. As I'm sure it has nothing to do with you as well as being targeted. Okay. So for the first 10 minutes, now notice this is about 2 hours long. about 2.5 hours long. I'm not going to play this whole thing, but if you want to watch the whole thing yourself, you can. This is the title of the video, and this is recent. This is just 24 hours, a day ago. Okay, I'm not putting up old shit. All right. Um, and I at least want you to bear with me for the first 10 minutes because there's some things that's being going to be said that I'd like to bring attention to and point out. Like I said earlier in this video, I said that the FISA 702 is not just exclusive to people that are foreigners or to Americans that have ties to any foreign element or person or whatever. Okay, the same tactics that they are using for this so-called foreign intelligence, they are using on American citizens. I have been saying this for the longest fucking time. And like I said, there are some people that had comments and made, had skepticism like, well, the FISA 702 don't have nothing to do with targeted individuals. We're right here in America. And I begged to differ. So again, it takes due diligence, it takes you researching and studying and just paying attention to what's going on in the news. I'm not political. I'm not Republican or Democrat. I'm not with any of that. But we got to pay attention to what's happening, okay? Because if this is something that could potentially turn our lives around for the better, I'm all for paying attention to it at least. But I still know not to get my hopes up too high. All right? So here we go. Let me go ahead and play this.
Is an important opportunity to discuss the wide range of threats facing our nation. I'm grateful that our top national security and law enforcement officials are here with us this morning to provide critical updates about what their agencies are doing to address threats to the homeland. This year, this hearing comes at a crucial moment. We are seeing a heightened threat environment in communities across the country in reaction to the ongoing conflict between Hamas and Israel. Many Americans are fearful of that increased tensions around the conflict could lead to violence in their communities here at home as incidents.
Let me stop it right there. I find it extremely convenient that right when they are having talks about doing away with the FISA 702 and Patriot Act, these programs that they've implemented for the sake of national security, I find it very coincidental and convenient that all of a sudden there's turmoil in Israel. Okay? So I just find that very interesting. That's something that's very important to pay attention to because they may very well try to use that narrative to try to extend this program or try to renew it. And we definitely don't want that to happen. We are hoping that the people that are in Congress, which there seems to be some very true patriotic, honest people that are trying to shed light on what's going on and to try to do away with all this assistance to all these other countries and just exposing these programs for the frauds that they are. There are people in Congress that appear to be trying to help. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Like I said, I know at the end of the day, a lot of these people are snakes and all this, but like I said, it's worth a shot to hear them out and to at least listen and see what's going on and to see if there's any actual real change. And we'll know if there's any real change once we're able to go outside and not have the feel that, you know, we're being watched and stalked and systematically harassed and gaslight by people that we don't even know who the fuck they are. Okay. So again, I just find it very interesting that uh, all of a sudden there's this chaos in Israel right when this program is supposed to end, right? And we know that this program does not have anything to do with national security. It is a hit list on people that speak truth. It is a hit list on people that are outspoken. It is a hit list on people whose minds cannot be controlled. It is a hit list on people who think outside of the box, who aren't robots and mind controlled zombies. Okay? There's only so much Satan can do to try to manipulate one's mind. But if you're a true child of the Most High, if you are a true soul from Source Energy, you cannot be manipulated. Okay? So that's the war that we fight. Let me continue playing this.
Of anti-Semitic, anti-Arab, and anti-Muslim hate continues to grow. Terrorism, and in particular domestic terrorism, fueled by white supremacist and anti-government ideologies, remains one of the most serious threats to our homeland security. And I look forward to hearing from our witnesses today about how their agencies are working to address both international as well as domestic terrorism. Our nation also faces emerging threats from biological, chemical, nuclear, and radiological weapons, especially if those weapons fall into the wrong hands. I have long been concerned about the danger.
The only weaponry, the bioweaponry that I've experienced and the directed energy attacks have been from intelligence agencies that are from this country. I cannot say I've experienced any kind of attacks from foreign places. Okay, the attacks that I've received, just as you have received, has been from this country.
This poses, which is why I led the effort to reauthorize the Office of Countering Weapons of Mass Destruction, and will continue to work towards that end. We must also reauthorize the Chemical Facility Anti-Terrorism Standards Program and ensure that facilities that store or produce chemicals are secure from terrorist threats. We'll also discuss the significant threat that cyber attacks pose to our national and economic security. Bad actors, such as foreign agents from China and Russia, cyber criminals and so-called hacktivist groups are constantly adapting, posing a serious risk to our critical infrastructure and to our election security. I am proud of the bipartisan work that this committee has.
The part that I want to get to that I really want to put emphasis on is that the 7 minutes and 28 seconds right up in there. Rand Paul is going to be grilling this Christopher Wray individual, this director of the FBI currently. And some of the stuff that he says is just very important for targeted individuals to hear.
Done to strengthen American cybersecurity. Our bipartisan reforms are helping to protect schools, federal agencies, state and local governments, and other targets from cyber attacks. That said, there is a whole lot more we must do to stop criminal hackers and foreign adversaries from exploiting network vulnerabilities, and I look forward to discussing those topics here today. The use of unmanned aircraft systems in our country has also rapidly increased. And while these tools help our economy and law enforcement personnel, they also bring serious security risk. Drones can threaten manned aircraft operations, target large public gatherings, and even be used to transport contraband across our borders. I look forward to hearing what our witnesses have to say about the threat of unmanned aircraft systems and the urgent need to reauthorize the counter-UAS capacities of the federal government, which are set to expire later in November. One of the most serious challenges we face, and one of the toughest to tackle, is that of climate change and natural disasters. This is an existential threat to our planet and continue.
I almost want to get past all this shit. I'm trying to wait 1 second. Let me get to Rand. That's Rand Paul right there. Let me get to that point. Skip a little bit.
American safe. I look forward to a very productive discussion. Ranking Member Paul, you are recognized for your opening remarks.
In 1976, the Church Committee issued its final report, revealing decades of widespread abuse by federal intelligence agencies against U.S. citizens. The bipartisan Church Committee outlined countless examples of how the federal government used powers that were meant to counter foreign threats against its own citizens. In an effort to protect society, these abuses happened under presidents of both parties. Domestic groups like the NAACP and the Women's Liberation Group engaged in nonviolent, lawful political expression were targeted and surveilled for contradicting the approved government initiative and narrative. Intelligence agencies use their power.
And see, a lot of us aren't even activists. I'm not an activist. I've never been to no Black Panther gathering and to stand in front of the White House or any of these buildings to protest anything. So it's like, if they're doing this to those people, why would they do it to a regular Joe like me or you? None of it makes sense.
To serve ideological purposes, attempting to covertly influence social policy and political action. The government distorted and exaggerated facts, leveraged mass media, and attacked the leadership of groups it considered to be threats to the social order. One of these so-called threats to
Considered to be threats to the social order. Now, there's something to think about. So we're considered social misfits, right? We don't fit the mold. We're the anomaly in the matrix because we think outside the box. The way that we think is different from the masses. So therefore, we're a threat. We cannot disrupt their new world order, their order out of chaos. They got to get rid of us. So that's pretty much the reasoning as to why this is happening. Okay, let me finish playing this.
social order was Martin Luther King Jr. The purpose of the Church Committee's years-long investigation was to expose the intelligence agency's unlawful overreach into the private lives of Americans. The committee hoped that its findings would result in more transparency and accountability to ensure that these abuses never occurred again. They say history repeats itself, doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. Unfortunately, as we sit here today, I fear that our federal government is still undertaking many of the same tactics that the Church Committee found to be unworthy of democracy and occasionally reminiscent of totalitarian regimes. Federal agencies, including the FBI and the DHS, continue to operate in a manner that is outside the scope of their authorities, wasting taxpayer dollars and infringing on the rights of Americans. Earlier this month, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals found that the federal agencies, including the FBI and DHS, likely violated the First Amendment. In fact, the judge said it was one of the worst, if not the worst, violation of the First Amendment in the history in American.
So with that being said, you got these courts that have said that these people have committed crimes. Fuck all this talk. Do something about it. And I understand it's a process. They have to go through these hearings and all this shit. That's the whole justice system is one big process. They can't just jump the gun. But it's like, fuck, there's so many people that have died, so many people that are still continuing to suffer at the hands of this shit. Something needs to be done. Gotta be done.
History. By coercing social media companies to remove speech the government disagreed with related to the origins of COVID-19, pandemic lockdowns, vaccine efficacy, and the Hunter Biden laptop stories. FBI and DHS regularly met with social media companies and pressured them to remove content it deemed as misinformation, including posts in a
You have a First Amendment right to say whatever the fuck you want to say. Okay? Some of you wonder why some of your videos get taken down or your channels get deleted. It's because your good old Department of Justice, FBI, met with these social media companies, just as Rand Paul has said, and pressured these social media companies to take down content that was going against their narrative of control, basically. Okay?
accounts that originated from within the United States and including posts and accounts that are verifiably true. And the censorship of the constitutionally protected speech on social media is just one example of the executive branch actions in recent years weaponizing the federal government against its people. The FBI continues to misuse its authority under Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. You would think we'd be going after foreigners, but we are using the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act to go after Americans.
Did you hear what he said? So to those of you that are saying that, oh, that's the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act is just for pertaining to foreigners, I'm gonna go back with what 728. This is exactly where I wanted to get to, and he lays it out. It's not just for foreigners; it is also for American citizens as well. They're using the same tactics. But my whole thing is, does Congress know about the shenanigans? Like, they talk about the surveillance aspect of it, but I would like for them to detail what they're really doing, and that's something that I haven't heard. They talk about the surveillance aspect of it, invasion of privacy, things of that nature. They're not talking about the harassment that comes with it. They're not talking about the property sabotage, residential sabotage, vehicle sabotage, the sabotage of your personal relationships with family and friends. I can't tell you how many relationships I've had sabotaged, how many girlfriends I've had, and just to completely have those relationships totally degraded and just done away with over rumors and lies and all this type of thing. Okay, let me go back and play what this man said. What, we at 728 right now? Let me go back. Just this thing's kind of sensitive. I don't want to do it. How can I need to research more? 705. We'll start there.
Speech on social media is just one example of the executive branch actions in recent years weaponizing the federal government against its people. The FBI continues to misuse its authority under Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. You would think we'd be going after foreigners, but we are using the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act to go after Americans.
Did you hear what he said? We are using the foreign to go after American citizens. I kept telling you people, and I find it odd that I'm the only targeted individual on YouTube that's even talking about this. I haven't really come across any other videos, and I wonder why. There's so many fake ass targeted individuals that have channels up on YouTube claiming to be targeted, right? But this program that this man is speaking of is the very program that is paying these agent provocateurs and these fake TIs that are on here putting up these channels like they're really targeted. They are paying these agents to put these channels up. So they're not going to talk about the FISA 702 or the Patriot Act because that's their bread and butter. Okay? It's just a theory of mine. Please comment and let me know if you agree or if you disagree, but it's just a theory. They're not going to make videos about the FISA 702 or speaking against it because they're probably benefiting from the budget that has been set aside for these programs. So of course they're not going to talk about it. So I just find it very odd. I'm one of very few. I can't even post a channel that's even really talking about it. There's one guy, damn, what was the name of his channel? I'm subscribed to him. Let me think here. 1 second. I want to find his channel real quick. I didn't want this video to be too long, but damn it, there's just so much that's going on, and I just want to be able to, just to get the information out there. Let me think for a second. What was his channel's name? Or how can I get to it? See, I'll have to do something like this. Bear with me. He was the only other TI that I heard talking about that actually put the video out talking about the FISA 702. And he has the FISA 702. He has the FISA. Can I get to it faster this way? 1 second. Okay, so this is the guy right here. He was the only guy that talked about the FISA program. The only targeted individual that I have seen specifically mention FISA, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. This is something that is directly connected to targeted individuals. I'm telling you, okay? Not too many people are talking about this on their channels. So it just makes me wonder, you know, FISA slaves are being fired, government taking care. Wait, what? He put another video out taking care of them, still taking over black community. He's still putting videos out pertaining to this. I don't even think I've seen that one. I got to put that in my watch later. But he has FISA, listen up, gang stalking. See, he's the only person that's talking about this shit. And a lot of these people that are putting videos up are getting paid by the FISA program. So naturally, they're not going to fucking talk about doing away with the FISA program because that's their bread and butter. I ain't going to name no names. I'm not going to name no channels. But like I said, it's just very important to, use your own better judgment and better discernment. Like the Bible says, even the very elect can be deceived. So do your due diligence and trust your gut. That's all I got to say. But check out his channel, Mega Harassed by FISA Program. Um, you know, he is the only person that I've seen that's actually talking about this shit. All right. So going back to here, 1 second. That's where I was at there. All right, let me play a little bit more. I'm gonna go back a little bit so he can say it again.
Intelligence Surveillance Act. You would think we'd be going after foreigners, but we are using the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act to go after Americans.
Go back again. And it was funny because when I got arrested in Polk County, on the arrest affidavit or the police report, this bastard deputy, Joshua Green, and I'm gonna make a video about that motherfucker, but he put on the arrest affidavit that I was from Ukraine. Motherfucker, you found out who I was. They already knew who I was before they even got there. It was a whole big setup, okay? But he specifically put that shit on there. I think he deliberately did that to try to maybe communicate to me to say like, dude, you're on a watch list, maybe possibly. Cuz like why would he put Ukraine on there? I am not from no I don't look Ukrainian. I don't have the Ukrainian accent. I don't speak their language. Why would he put Ukraine on there? I'm gonna make a whole nother separate video about that because I have a tale to tell about that situation. From when I got arrested to what I went through when I was in that jail, I got receipts. I don't sit up here and talk out my ass. I don't sit up here and lying about nothing. I got receipts for everything. But anyways, let me finish playing this. Go back again so you can hear it.
Sure that these abuses, speech on social media, is just one example of the executive branch actions in recent years weaponizing the federal government against its people. The FBI continues to misuse its authority under Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. You would think we'd be going after foreigners, but we are using the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act to go after Americans. As we observed and was done with individuals participating in the Georgia.
And see, that's the trickery behind it. That's what they use to deceive a lot of the masses. A lot of people that don't think outside the box, that don't do critical thinking, they are just so apt to believing whatever the feds say or a law enforcement figure says about this stuff. But when you look at all this stuff that's happening, it has nothing to do with foreigners. Now, with my situation, oh, they took advantage. Like my last name, that was my monster, my last name, right? Because my last name is a foreign last name. I have spent majority of my life in this country. Now, granted, I have lived abroad when I was a kid and stuff like that, only because of my father's work allowed him to travel, and he also got to take family with him. They covered all those expenses. So I did spend time abroad, but I was always endowed in American culture, more so than I was with African culture or European culture, because I did live in Europe for a short period when I was a kid. Okay, so, but I'm Americanized, obviously, with my accent. I don't have an accent of an African, of a Ukrainian, of anybody that's abroad. I don't even speak to nobody that's abroad. I got family that's in Africa, but I can't even tell you the last time I even talked to them. And certainly if I have talked to them, it has nothing to do with terrorism on this country or anything like that. And they already know this bullshit. But again, with my last name being a foreign last name, you know, them picking me out would have made more sense as to picking out like somebody who doesn't have a foreign last name. It would be interesting to see that watch list, the names of people that they have on there, and to just look at, okay, do they have more people that have foreign last names on the list? And to try to look at their background, because if you look at my background, I have spent most of my life in this country. I have not spent most of my life abroad. So that's just a very interesting aspect of it. Let me play this a little bit more, and then I'll move on to something else.
Floyd protests. Unconstitutional access to Americans' activities was instituted against those in the George Floyd protests. DHS warned of violence from Americans who questioned the efficacy and safety of the COVID-19 vaccines and protested government overreach associated with pandemic mitigation measures. These agencies, charged with protecting the security of our nation, targeted parents who protested restrictive COVID-19 policies at school board meetings and labeled Catholics as potential domestic terrorists.
Because they protested vaccines at the schools, right? So that's like activism against it. They're doing this to people that aren't even involved in any activism. I don't go to any meetings and meet up with people and huddle up together and let's go to Capitol Hill and wreak chaos and hell and do this. I've never been like that. So if they're doing that shit to people that are actually voicing their concerns and opinions and being activists about it, why would they do that to somebody that's just a working person, that's just an average Joe just trying to make a living? None of it makes sense. So that's why I'm glad all of this shit is coming out in the open. I just wanted to put this out there. I'm gonna move on to something else. Um, Again, this is a 2 hour 29-minute video. You can go and watch this yourself. I have watched the whole thing already. Okay, I'm just basically playing a highlight of what Rand Paul is talking about. How the FISA 702 program, it's not just for foreigners. They are doing this shit to American citizens as well. It all ties in together. The NSA, FBI, all these intelligence agencies, CIA, they all work hand in hand to dish out the chaos that is um, that is produced from this program. Okay, so I just wanted to play that. Also, as I've mentioned before, I said it was very important to contact your U.S. representatives for your area. So again, I'm in the state of Florida. I'm not going to disclose where exactly I'm in Florida I'm at, but I did contact my local state representative. I've contacted the governor. I've contacted Jim Jordan in his office and all that. So this is what I did. This is the website to go to. If you still haven't done it, you need to bombard these people with your testimonies as to what's happening to you. Make phone calls. I'm going to show you the phone number that I called. So this is the website you go to, homeland.house.gov. You go to contact. Okay. This is the correct section. I know it says blow the whistle. You don't have to be somebody who's worked in a government capacity to submit one of these. You simply, and I got confirmation because I actually called them and I asked questions. And I'll play the recording of a call that I made one time. I don't think it has that information in there of when I got confirmation of what I'm saying, but I just want to play one phone call at least to show you guys that I did contact these people. I'm not full of shit. So this is where you go. Blow the whistle. Go to contact. Blow the whistle. Scroll to the bottom. This is where you're gonna mail your testimony to. This is where I mailed mine. This is my 1 second. This is my tracking number for you can see right here. I had to blot out like my location and all that. Obviously, I don't want to put all of my business out on YouTube. But U.S. House of Representatives, Committee of Homeland Security. That's the address H2-176 Fort House Office Building, Washington, D.C. 20515. Okay. So I'm going to show you over here. This is the same address as here. All right. Let me go back here. Like I said, I like to be as thorough as I possibly can and have receipts for everything that I say because these people, you dealing with some snaky ass fucking people that will do any and everything they can to try to discredit you, to try to make you look like you're a fool and all this old kind of shit. But when you come with your proof and they're sitting there looking stupid and they don't have any comments for the proof that you have, what the fuck is this thing doing? I'm trying to do a side by side. What is this thing doing? 1 second. Go here. Click on this shit. I'm just trying to move this thing over. Where's the border? Okay. I just want y'all to see that's the same address as this, okay? So real shit, I did send this shit off. I paid on damn near $20 to send this shit off just to make sure they get it with the tracking number. Okay, it was confirmed that it got delivered. I've already checked it through UPS, so my shit did make it, hopefully. you know, but that's where you're gonna submit it to in reference to the Homeland Security Committee, and that's exactly what's going on with this right here. Okay, Homeland Security Committee. So this is the shit pertaining to this. This is where I sent it to. All right, so that's where you're gonna send it. Um, what else did I want to mention? Let's see. Oh, let's play a phone call of me contacting an individual at this number that I called right here. I'm gonna play that recording just so y'all see. This is the first call. Okay, right here.
House Committee on Homeland Security, how may I help you?
Yes, hi. This call is being recorded, by the way. I'm a citizen. I submitted a whistleblower testimony on the website through email. My computer and emails do get hacked. So, as a backup, I did mail in the testimony as well. The carrier that I went to stated that the address that I provided on the envelope was not a valid address. And I just wanted to confirm the address to the U.S. House of Representatives for Homeland Security is H2 176 Ford House Office Building, Washington, D.C. 20515. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Is there any reason as to why a national mail carrier wouldn't identify that address as being valid?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Has there been any complaints that you're aware of in terms of people trying to submit things and, not getting to you guys or anything of that nature?
Not recently, no.
Okay. Do you know who Alex is?
That's me, sir.
Okay, yeah, it was you I spoke to yesterday. Okay, I thought I was gonna get a call back from you. I didn't hear anything.
Oh, yes. No, I passed along what you told me in your contact information, but I haven't heard anything else on it since then, and I'm not quite sure whether the person I passed it on to is in the office today. Yeah, so that's why I wasn't able to call.
Okay, no worries. All right, I just wanted to, possibly try to get a little bit more information, but okay. Thank you for your time, Alex.
Yep. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so initially when I sent this off, or was attempting to get this sent off, they relayed to me that this address here, this U.S. House of Representatives address, was not a valid address, and I just found that very odd because, for obvious reasons. I mean, it's for the U.S. House of Representatives. It's off an official website. How is this not a valid address? So the UPS representative did explain to me that sometimes when you're sending things to government entities, it can be a little bit complicated. He mentioned something about sending something himself personally to a military installation, and he said dealing with that was almost like dealing with a foreign language or a secret language or some shit. So I just thought that was very odd, but I was kind of anxious about it. I was trying to figure out, okay, well, I'm hoping this will get to them. I'm hoping this is not some type of way that they're trying to obstruct me getting my testimony out. But ultimately, it did get delivered, so I'm grateful for that. This was very worrisome for me when it says USPS delivery dates not guaranteed. Because you know how things go when we're on this program. Everything is watched and monitored. Our emails are manipulated. Our communications are manipulated. So it's not far fetched to feel the way that we feel in terms of making sure that things get to the people that could possibly help. Okay. So I'm not full of shit. Like I said, I do send this shit off. These are my receipts. So I'm just trying to share that with you. Um, Let me finish playing the rest of this phone call. I mean, the phone call is pretty much done there, but I just had some extra commentary I wanted to share.
And there you have it. So making attempts to try to get this testimony pertaining to organized stalking and harassment and being a victim of this harassment to the U.S. House of Representatives, Homeland Security Committee. I put all that information on the envelope. Matter of fact, let me. Okay, so that's the information I put on the envelope. So I emailed it. In addition to emailing it, I also sent a letter certified with a tracking number just as a backup, okay, so that it can get to these people because we know how these people are with trying to, um, intercept our mail and communications.
So yeah, I had that upside down. Sorry about that. I held my phone some kind of weird way to where it recorded it upside down. But you can verify it is the same address and whatnot. But yeah, just me babbling on about that. But yeah, that's the least you can do. Like I said, I don't subscribe to any man being a savior, okay, or any group of people being a savior, but I do believe that there's still good people left on this earth. Obviously, if I'm still here, there's still good people. Just as if you're still here, there's still good people. So the least you can do is at least submit it. It's not going to hurt to do it. It just takes a little bit of time to send it off, maybe a few dollars or whatnot to send it off. But I invested in that because I felt like it was just important to at least have record that look, I am putting this information out that I am a victim of this. I'm experiencing the same symptoms of what this harassment is about, and I'm just letting government know. These supposed leaders that are supposed to be there and protect its citizens. Let me go ahead and just submit this and see what happens, okay? And nothing may come of it, and I'm prepared to accept that if it does happen. Like I said, you can't keep your hopes up as a targeted individual because we may have to live out the rest of our lives dealing with this shit, and I'm prepared to face that if that's what it's going to be. But damn it, you fight until the very end at least, you know. And that's all part of having a soul is you don't give up, and that's how you know you still have your soul because you still have that fight left in you to still want to thrive and survive as best as you can. Because if you didn't have your soul and if you completely given up, I mean, there's suicide, there's drugs, there's all kind of stuff that you can do to kind of destruct, go into that self-destruct mode. But all of us, we still have that fight left in us, and it's a great thing that we've made it this far. Um, Condolences and our hearts and thoughts go out to those that have not make it, that have fallen. Um, my heart really goes out to those people that are locked up in prisons right now as a result of this program. The people that experience the V2K technology, the voice to skull, which I believe is very real, even though that is not my experience. I'm not going to discard those people. My God, if they had the technology to get through those people's minds, to do that to those people, to cause them to commit these crimes, my heart goes out to them. Okay. It wouldn't be fair for me to discard V2K people when I've had people discard my claims about being targeting. Okay, so that would be it's just wrong to do. So, but anyways, I don't want to make this video too long. How many minutes is it? I always say that okay, so we're just under 20. Something else I wanted to share as well, about the Airbnb stuff. So there was an extra individual that mentioned the name Ochu. If you watched my previous video, I talked about how people know who we are everywhere that we go, okay? And I showed proof of that. So going back to my Airbnb is just a small part of it. I wanted to share again. When you have an Airbnb account, and those of you that have dealt with Airbnb before or on a regular basis, if you have experience with this, please comment. It would be highly appreciative if you did. But when you have an Airbnb account, the only information that the host is going to see is what you put on there. In terms of like your name, Airbnb is really good about protecting your personal information. So they don't show your email address, they don't show your phone number. All of that is confirmed through the Airbnb company. Okay. So the only thing the host sees is your bio, basically. Okay. The About Anthony or About whatever your name is section. Okay. It shows how many reviews you have, clearly as you see here. It shows how many years or how much time you've been dealing or reserving rooms with Airbnb, okay? And then it goes on to show all your reviews. So again, I just want to point out there's nothing on here that shows that I use the name Ochu, okay? My real name, first name is Anthony. Ochu is part of my last name. Let me show the reviews here. Okay. Everyone has referred to me as Anthony. Not a single person has referred to me as Ochu. I just want to go through that again. Anthony there, Anthony here, there's Anthony again, there, here, 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 here. Now, this was the third person that I didn't showcase in my last video. I showcased these other two people. I showcased Shedrick. Remember Shedrick? When I did my intro initially, inquiring about his the room that he had to rent, he mentioned Ochu. I talked about that. I talked about this other lady. Okay, the Louise lady, the one that was giving me a hard time. I did my intro here, and then she mentions Ochu here. So once again, there's nothing on here that says Ochu. Now, this lady was the one that I missed, and I just wanted to point out. She even used my name in the review. Anthony was very quiet and respectful guest. He was neat and cleaned up thoroughly after himself. Okay. Now, this is her right here, using my name Ochu. This is my initial intro. Would I be able to have a hardwired internet connection? I work from home, and my employer's computer requires me to have Ethernet connection straight to the modem. She says, "Hi, Ochu. Thank you for contacting me. The modem, cable, blah, blah, blah." The whole point is she used the name Ochu. Okay. So when I say that people know who we are wherever we go, it's not a figment of my imagination. It's not grandiose, what did they call grandiose delusion, where you feel like you're of just significant importance and you're just better than people or you have access to information other people don't have. It's nothing like that. What I'm showing you is fact. This is solid proof of people getting alerted or getting notified about you prior to you even meeting them, because this communication was prior to me even meeting them. Okay, so I just wanted to put that out there. What else? And they trying to mind blank me right now, but yeah, you got people out there that want to say we're crazy, we're schizophrenic, and all that kind of stuff, and they make these videos saying how stupid and dumb we are, but yet they have all these little minute things they can point out to criticize us on, to say that, oh, look, this person's dumb, he gave wrong information. But when you get to the meat of what you're talking about in your video, when you talk about solid proof, they can't explain to me how these individuals got the name Ochu when the name Ochu is not listed on my Airbnb account. Okay? They can't explain that, but they'll point out stupid shit like, oh, look, he gave misinformation about the emergency broadcasting system and blah, 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 this, blah, blah, that. Just stupid shit. Okay? So yeah, I just wanted to point that out. Just like I said, there was an additional person that I didn't mention on my previous video that I posted. This individual right here, Fiona, who used my name, Ochu, and it's not listed on my account. Okay? So again, don't let people try to make you think that you're crazy or stupid or dumb. You obviously know who these people are that challenge what we say or the testimonies that we give in pertaining to our harassment. So, um, yeah, it is what it is. What else did I want to talk about? Was there something else? Oh, let me play this one video real quick. This is
Is
where
the FBI still meeting with social media?
Rand Paul um, was grilling the director, uh, Christopher Wray, the current FBI director, about meeting with social media companies pertaining to our First Amendment rights. So this is something else I wanted to play that was important as well.
Is the FBI still meeting with social media companies?
We're having some interaction with social media companies, but all of those interactions have changed fundamentally in the wake of the court's rulings.
That's a lie. Ain't shit changed fundamentally. I still get subliminal messaging that is specific to traumas that I've experienced in my life. I'm still getting people sending me messages, subliminal threats, and all this kind of shit. So it's a bunch of bullshit. And we're still censored. There are people still getting videos taken down. Yeah, YouTube is still doing the shit, so he's fucking lying. You could see the slits in this motherfucker's eyes. But I digress. Let me finish playing this.
That's sort of an acknowledgement that perhaps you weren't just talking about national security, child pornography, and human trafficking, right? You had other areas of discussion that did involve constitutionally protected speech.
No, that's not an acknowledgement of
But
that.
then how did you change your behavior?
Out of an abundance of caution, in order to make sure that we don't run afoul of any court ruling, I would say, by the way, of course, that the injunction has been stayed by the Supreme Court.
Did anybody from the FBI ever discuss constitutionally protected speech with social media organizations?
Not to my understanding.
Vaccine efficacy, never discussed any post concerning vaccine efficacy?
Well, certainly not, because to my understanding, as you know, the FBI was the first and for a long time the only agency in the intelligence community to assess that the COVID origin was most likely from a lab leak. So
commend
the
you-
idea
I-
that we were
I commend you-
engaging
I
in.
commend you for
Yeah.
that, but the Twitter files and other indications, as well as the Missouri versus Biden, list many cases of both DHS and FBI discussing constitutionally protected speech, vaccine efficacy, mask efficacy. People who said, my brother got the vaccine and died yesterday. And the brother actually did die, but proof of cause and effect is one thing. But taking down posts like that was part of the discussion in these meetings.
Not by the FBI. We would not have been engaging with social media companies.
He's a fucking liar. I mean, this shit was going on left and right. You couldn't say nothing about COVID. You said anything. People had to start referring. Remember, people started to have to refer to COVID as the C word.
It's about vaccine efficacy, to my knowledge, certainly.
Director Wray, in 2017, the Department of Justice issued subpoenas to members of the House Intelligence Committee, congressional staffers, as well as Senate Judiciary Committee staffers to turn over private information. Were you involved with that investigation, aware of it at the time?
I'm not familiar with that specific
This
investigation.
had to do with the leaks, I believe, we have never been told completely, but the leaks concerning the Crossfire Hurricane and the leaks concerning the conversation between Flynn and Kislyak that was wiretapped, that was classified, that somehow got out, but you're not aware of anybody from Congress being investigated?
Well, as I sit here right now, that's not something that's ringing a bell for me.
Do you see a problem with the Department of Justice issuing subpoenas to congressional staff?
He doesn't need to. He does not need to have his job. He don't know shit. Oh, not to my knowledge. How is it not to your knowledge and you're supposed to be the fucking director of the FBI? How do you not know?
Staffers who are providing oversight to the very organization that's issuing the subpoenas?
Well, certainly, anytime there's an investigative activity that touches upon a separate branch of government, namely the legislative branch, it has to be done extraordinarily carefully, and there are all kinds of policies that the department has in place to make sure that that's done appropriately.
Director A, did the FBI pay Twitter money to moderate content moderation?
I'm not aware of us paying money to moderate content there or anywhere else.
What was the $3 million for that the FBI gave that's been revealed in Twitter files, which has been characterized by those writing the Twitter files as payment for content moderation? Basically, they said Twitter, you know, you guys were meeting with them all the time and you had them taking down so many posts. They said, well, gosh, it's a lot of work. Why don't you pay us? And so you did. You paid them $3 million. Are you aware of the payment?
I'm
So if they pay social media to do shit like that, is it far-fetched to say that there are people out there that are getting paid to target targeted individuals? Is it far-fetched to say that there's budget set aside to pay, say, neighbors or just random people throughout the nation to go out and enact the shenanigans under the instruction of handlers that are tied in or work directly under the FBI? Is it far-fetched to say that? Let me go back and play this shit.
You guys were meeting with them all the time and you had them taking down so many posts. They said, well, gosh, it's a lot of work. Why don't you pay us? And so you did. You paid them $3 million. Are you aware of the payment?
I'm not aware of that specific payment, but I can tell you that when it comes to payments, going back well over 4 decades, when we are required by federal law, when a company, like in this instance a provider, goes through expenses to produce information, we're required to reimburse them for those expenses. And so I think that a lot of the questions about payments revolve around exactly that.
And you will repeat under oath that there was never any discussion of the FBI to take down
Watch this motherfucker damn near shift. He damn near loses control of his cloak. Watch.
constitutionally protected speech. You think it's all national security, child pornography, sex trafficking.
Watch his lips.
No discussion of constitutionally protected speech, because this is all going to come out, and a lot of it's come out already in depositions, but you're saying there was never any discussion by any of your agents in any of these meetings of constitutionally protected speech being taken down?
To my knowledge, our agents conducted themselves in compliance with the law throughout.
Same question to Secretary Mayorkas. You're not
Did you see his lip at the end of that? That thing, he is so nervous. He just like he was starting to lose his cloak right there. You can damn near see the snake. 1 second. Go back a little bit.
throughout.
Same question to Secretary Mayorkas.
My knowledge, our agents conducted themselves in compliance with the law throughout.
Same question to Secretary Mayorkas. You're not
His mouth can't even hold its integrity because he's just full of shit. Just this is snake talk. Let me finish this. Just 16 seconds left.
aware of your agents ever discussing any constitutionally protected speech with any of the social media companies.
The same answer as Director Ray provided to you, Ranking Member Paul.
This motherfucker here, he need to be put under the jail. All this stuff going on with the border. But anyways, I just wanted to share this stuff with you guys. My whole point in this was like there were people talking about, oh, the FISA 702 is just for foreigners or people tied with foreigners, Americans that are tied to people that are abroad and all that kind of shit. I kept telling you no, it is also they've incorporated it all to surveil a bunch of Americans that don't even have nothing to do with fucking foreigners. Okay, so I proved my case in point in all this. I'm done with all that. What else did I want to share? Oh, what's going on with this? Second, got some beepage going on. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I had backup. They weren't expecting that. Okay. All right. So yeah, that's my video. Did good this time. I didn't go like an hour. That's all I got for now.
Today's hearing.
Constitutionally protected speech.
No, that's not an acknowledgement of
Well,
that.
then how did
in the United States reassigned
There's a family member.
colleagues in urgent
If an individual
Maine
one
Genocide towards Jews, what percent towards
Out of
increase even.
must preserve
men serve as an inspiration, the likes of which
Christopher Wray is the 8th.
as an inspiration and spying in this country going back years. Given that disturbing history, we are keeping a close eye on what impact recent events may have on those groups' intentions here in the United States. The FBI's men and women have the tools they need to keep us all safe. And indispensable in that toolkit against foreign adversaries are the FBI's FISA 702 authorities. It would be absolutely devastating if the next time an adversary like Iran or China conducts a major cyber attack, we don't see it coming.
But see, these intelligence agencies that are here in this country are responsible. This is my belief. People can believe whatever they want to, but there's only so many times you can fool a person, right? You can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all of the people all the time, as they say. And basically, the FBI and these intelligence agencies are coming before these Congress and Judiciary Committee hearings, basically making threats that, hey, if you don't continue the FISA 702 and the Patriot Act, there's going to be a shit ton more attacks on the American people. And nobody wants to experience what happened with 9/11, right? So that's the fear factor that they have going. The real criminals are the intelligence agencies. They are the ones creating the chaos. That's all part of the New World Order. Order out of chaos. They have to. Is this just still? Okay, I'm just making sure it's still on. They have to create the chaos, which will produce the fear, which will in turn get a compliance from the sleep, the sheep, the Walking Dead, the zombies, right? The ones that don't use their fucking heads and think. Like, oh shit, there's a threat. Here's somebody in a suit and tie telling us we need to be careful. Oh, we gotta listen. Stupid motherfuckers. But anyways, I digress. That's my video. And I just wanted to share that with you guys. FISA 702 is not exclusive to foreigners. It's also used on American citizens. That's my whole point. Later.